Baba is taking us from bondages of sorrow to relationships of happiness. In Hindi, it is called Dukh ke bandhan se Sukh ke sambandh. So, right now we are in bondages of sorrow, and tomorrow we will be in relationships of happiness in Satyug. Now, I want to just analyze something about this first before we move to the next thing in the Murli. So, you see that in the world also, when people come into relationships, it looks like there is an exchange of love and happiness and joy. Yes, it looks like that. Have you seen the relationship between a customer and a businessman? It's a very sweet relationship. The businessman really treats the customer with love and, sweet words and lot of hospitality and everything. But that is not a relationship of happiness. It is a bondage of sorrow, because that whole exchange is subject to a condition that I am the seller and you are the buyer. And if that condition doesn't exist and the client is not the buyer anymore, then again, next time the seller sees the client, he doesn't have that feeling that I'm going to get profit from this one. And the buyer also remembers, oh, this person used to treat me so happily and with so much love, and look at this person today, he's not even looking at me. So, this is the thing. All our relationships are bondages today. And if you look at this word bondage, it is, there is a bond in it. There is a condition in it. And subject to that bond, that condition, that relationship is a relationship of happiness. And once that bond is forfeited, then it becomes a relationship of sorrow. That's why it's a bondage. And when people come in Gyan, so they say that because of the teachings of purity and celibacy, our household has become, ghar barbad ho gaya, they say. Our household is not the same anymore. So I generally think about what happened after coming into Gyan. So I ask them, and they say that now the person says, I want to remain celibate. So that means your whole relationship was based on this bond, that this is my supplier of lust. And once that bond is forfeited, that same relationship which you thought was a very happiness giving relationship has become a relationship of sorrow. So these are all bondages of sorrow we are living in. Apparently, or in the short term, they might look like a relationship of love and happiness, but that's only until the terms and conditions of the bond are being adhered to. You look at children and parents also. Until they are receiving what they expect from each other, the bond exists. Even for parents, I would say that. I have seen parents cursing their own children. They say that, and you know how they curse? It's a very beautiful language. They say, But a parent cannot give bad wishes to their children, but what they're doing is very bad. But in that, they are giving those bad wishes and they're crying and their heart is full of sorrow. So that's a bondage. So if the child takes care of you, or if the child is available, or if the child is doing the right thing according to you, so that according to you is very important. Or the child is being humble enough to feed your ego. I'm being very straight, but this is how it works. And the moment that bond is forfeited, the relationship, the sweetness of the relationship is lost. There is no sweetness in that relationship anymore. Even for children these days, children, even from a young age, if the parent is not able to fulfill their wishes, that sweetness is lost. They start, they even start looking out for the fulfillment of their wishes and whatever they need. So it's a bondage, and if you want to understand it, it's like it's subject to that condition of that bond. That whole contract has to be adhered to, otherwise there is no sweetness in that relationship. So there is a sweetness, there is an exchange, but it is not unconditional. And conditions are not virtuous, conditions are vicious. So there is the condition of lust, there is the condition of ego being fed, or anger or attachment. Some people like the person they can be angry, with. So some people are in relationships where they love the subject of their anger also. So somebody who takes their anger lying down is their best relationship. So these lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed, these are the basis of our relationships. And also we have very strong relationships with the people we hate. So because they also occupy a lot of space in our mind and heart, and they keep doing that perpetual damage. So this is the bondage of relationships, bondage of sorrow that we are in. So now, why is it called a bondage of sorrow? Because you get sorrow when the term is fulfilled, and you get sorrow when the term is forfeited, both. Got it? When your supply of lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed is being given also, you're getting sorrow because you're becoming weaker and weaker and weaker. And then when they're not giving you, you're feeling sorrow. So then you are self-inflicting that sorrow because you have a belief system. Yes, so there are people who say that I was happy in an impure relationship but unhappy in a pure relationship. So yes, it would be like that, because if your idea of relationship is lust, then you would experience sorrow based on your thought process, based on your belief system. So it's a bondage of sorrow because come what may, even there are only two scenarios. Either your expectations of vice from the relationship will be fulfilled, or it will be forfeited. If it is fulfilled also, you are getting a supply of lust, ego, attachment, greed, and you're getting more and more dependent over it, and you're becoming a weaker soul every day. And then because when it is taken away from you, then because you are not a strong soul, you suffer because you are in the belief system that this is a traumatic situation. So this is why these relationships always are called bondages of sorrow. And then Baba says, in Satyug, there is a relationship of happiness, because there the relationships are not founded on vices. So no soul needs anything from the other. And every soul is loveful, so the exchange of love and care is unconditional and incessant. So you love because you are a loveful soul. And that's the foundation of a true relationship. And Baba says that in order to move from this bondage of sorrow to that relationship of happiness, what you have to do is have all relationships with Baba now. All attainments, all relationships from Baba. And with Baba, the relationship cannot be vicious, because Baba cannot give you lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed. Can he give you? No. So this relationship is not based on the contract of vices. So Baba says, now when you start having relationships with Baba, so let me tell you that how do I put it? I don't know how to put it in a decent way, so I will just put it outright. So Baba gives you so Baba gives you everything, and it's a substitute for the vices you're getting in the world. Yes, like let's say ego. So you source your ego from your relationships and position and everything. Now Baba says, I give you Swaman instead of ego. Yes, so now don't. So earlier, in order to create temporary happiness, you used your ego. Yes, you used your title, position, your relationship with a powerful person, and it's all a mental phenomena. How do you feel high and mighty? You think I'm high and mighty. Yes, so all that internal process was taking place based on external factors. Now Baba says, you derive your Swaman from me. So I am the highest on high and you are my child. So that will keep you in high spirits. So that will make you happy. So Baba gives us the substitute of vices, which is pure, and Baba gives it himself. He says, source it from me. So you want greed, so you have that, just like when people are addicts, they are given, good substitutes for their addiction. So Baba says, you're greedy, right? Be greedy for Satyug. Be greedy to have a good place in Satyug. Yes. You want to be attached, be very attached to me, Baba says. Be very attached to me. So attached that you wake up with me, sleep with me, eat with me, do everything with me. And I will never go away. Yes, if you're attached to a person, first day they cooperate, second day they figure out, third day they shun you. Yes. And I remember there was this little kid, and he used to, he was very little, like he was 6 years of age, and he used to, every day, he used to live 1 kilometer away from our place. So we were also children, and then that kid would come running, every day 1 kilometer he would run and come to our place, and he would be very attached to this company. So I, my Lokik sister, brother, we would all be here, and he would be very interested. He was my sister's friend. School, they used to study in school together, same class. So he used to come, and then he was very attached. And then one day, my sister said, he's a very big chipku. Every day he comes. He doesn't allow us any alone time. So he heard that. He had just arrived and he heard that. And he was so traumatized by it. He was very traumatized by it, And I remember 10 years later, he told me that incident. So we didn't know that why he stopped coming. So 10 years later, when he was in college, so I once met him and I said, you're that little kid who used to come every day. And then why did you stop suddenly? We also wanted to find out. My sister also asked you in school, why did you stop coming suddenly? And then he said, I don't know whether I would have even told you last year, but now I have dealt with it. So I will tell you. So this is what happened. So you see that these attachments, and the human mind is such that once you figure out somebody is attached to you, you don't like it. You want to be attached to people. You want to stick to them, suck their blood, but you don't want anybody to do the same thing to you. So people have this idea that whenever I call someone, they should pick the phone. But when somebody calls me, I have to keep them waiting. So, and you don't like when somebody calls you continuously 7 times. You resist picking that call. But when you are desperate, you want to have that one go-to person you can always call. So, all that is there. And then Baba says, have that attachment with me. I will always pick your call. So Baba says, this is how it is. And then Baba says, lust and knowledge. So, Baba has told us, काम चिता से उतर कर ज्ञान चिता पर चढ़ जाओ. And lust stimulates sensual pleasure, and knowledge stimulates supersensuous joy. And if you really experience supersensuous joy that knowledge stimulates, you will know that the sensual pleasure of lust is nothing. So Baba says that I give you a good substitute for all the vices. And you have this relationship with me. And once you start this exchange with me, then you will slowly be in continuous happiness, because in the world, in vicious relationships, you have happiness and sorrow, happiness and sorrow. But here in this relationship with Baba, you will have constant happiness. And then in that happiness, when you do karma, that karma will also be good karma. So you will create sanskars of happiness and karma, which will create a world of happiness. And then Baba says, then you will be liberated from the bondage of sorrow, and you will move to that relationship of happiness. And then Baba gives us 6 points today, to keep in our awareness so that we can always experience happiness. In the world, people say, count your blessings. Yes, they say, count your blessings and stay happy. What is the substitute of anger that Baba gives us? Anger is basically, anger is when all these four things are not fulfilled. So when your lust, ego, attachment and greed are not satiated, then you feel angry. Yes, so Baba gives us all of this tremendously, so there is no scope for anger. Okay, now, and then Baba gives us 6 points to keep in our awareness, so that, that is like counting our blessings, and count your blessings makes you feel happy. But then, in the world, when people say count your blessings, they suggest that you count, I have 2 houses and 1 car, and I have 2 children, and then you say I have 2 houses, but my neighbor has 4, and then I have 1 car, and that's a old model, and then there is another one who has a new model, and then you say, okay, my 2 children are there, but these 2 children, they are not studying well, and my friends' children are studying very well. So then you always tend to, when you start counting your blessings, you don't feel blessed enough. So that is what happens. And then sometimes, even when you are, you have that sanskar of contentment, and you think that, okay, I have enough. Some people are there who say that Bhagwan ka diya sab kuch hai. They say, okay, we have enough. But then you ask them, then are you always happy? No, but I'm in fear, I might lose some of it. So then, you are in, if you're not in comparison, then you are in fear. So some or the other emotion, they say that I'm very happy that God has given me everything, but then I'm afraid I shouldn't lose any of it. So I have 2 very dear children, but then they should always be with me. Or I have a very loving father and he's getting old. So these days I am very scared that I might lose him. So all these things come up. So Baba says, now I am telling you what to always hold in your awareness. So Baba says, not temporary attainments, but the eternal attainments that Baba is giving you. So the attainment, the sense of attainment that comes from knowing that Baba has adopted you and he's your mother and giving you sustenance, or that he's making you the Prince of Heaven, or the fact that he has made you Trikaldarshi. So, people are very afraid of the future. They say that, no, I don't know the future, and that gives me a lot of fear of uncertainty. And here we know the past, present and future both. So, and we also know how the past changed into the present and what to do to change it into the future. So we not only know the future, we know the method to the future also. And we know that if something doesn't look very clear from here, then what is missing and how do we bring about that clarity. So Baba says, you count these blessings that Baba has made you Trikaldarshi. Baba is giving you the sustenance of a father and a mother, and Baba is making you the, the owner of heaven or the master of heaven. So Baba says, count these blessings. And then Baba today says something about Antmate Sogati. So, Baba says that in the world it is said that a Kumari shot an arrow to Bhishma Pitama, and then he was given the water of Ganga while dying. Yes, so he was given the water of Ganga while he was dying. And then Baba says, constantly remember me alone. You children should instill this habit. So it is said that when a person is on the deathbed, then in his final moments, he should have, the water of Ganga in his mouth. But Baba says it's not about that water of Ganga. It's about this remembrance of Baba in your buddhi in the final moments. which will lead you to your final destination. But Baba says, in order to remember something in your final moments, you should have a very deep habit of it and deep love for it. So Baba says, now that you understand that you must remember me in the final moment, then create this habit of remembering me always and have this deep love for me. Because it's not like chanting Shiv Shiv in ordinary times. Yes, because in the final moments, there'll be a lot of pull of the 5 elements of nature and lot of pull of vices. So, there'll be violence around, there'll be acts of lust, there'll be, you're losing everything you thought that was your own. And all of in amidst that scene and all the 5 elements of nature, there is a thunderstorm, there's an earthquake, there is fire all at once. And Baba says, in that situation, in order to remember me at that moment, you need to have deep love for me. So I will tell you one thing. When people get ill, physically, they don't even remember their family members. So even if, so I know somebody, and when he was very ill, he couldn't recognize his son, he couldn't recognize his daughter, he only recognized his wife. And he recognized his younger brother who lived miles away, but he kept calling out to that younger brother very much. And that is what deep love means. Deep love is really deep. Deep love is really deep. And when you have that deep love, that is what makes you remember somebody in your final moments. And then, the wife used to say, उस भाई के पीछे पड़े रहते हैं. So she used to get very annoyed that he remembers his younger brother, and she used to tell me, now I can't call him and do all his seva. Already, I am taking care of this person, and then calling him and doing his seva is very difficult. He is also very old. Now I can't bring him and entertain. So whenever he remembered his brother, the wife would say, no, he is far away, you keep quiet, you sleep. But he would say, no, I want to meet him, I want to meet him. He would just keep chanting that one thing. So then one day when I visited, I asked, did he love him very much? So he said, he was the only one, he was younger, he always listened to him. He never said no to him all his life. He is very dear to him. So I said, and next is, you see, I sometimes said no. So that's why he remembers him first and me later. So, and the children also he doesn't remember. So you see that when we listen to these things in the Murli, they sound very simple, but it's not that simple. Remembering somebody in your final moment has got to do with deep love. And Baba says, if you love me that deeply, then in those scenes of violence and in that force of nature and amidst everything, your heart will be with me, and then you will be able to transition from here to go to sit very near to Baba. So this is something that Baba tells us today. And then Baba today tells that become a genie. So the genie story? The genie story is very interesting. So in that story, a person finds a genie, and the genie is very powerful, very capable, very efficient. And then that genie says, I can do all your work, but I cannot sit idle. And if I sit idle, I'll eat you up. So, so you have to give me some work all the time. So this lazy person thinks that this person wants work. What is the difficulty? I can give that person a lot of work. But then what he discovers is whatever work he gives him, he finishes in a second and comes back. And then there is the dangling sword on the head that this genie will eat the person up. So then this person comes up with a solution. He says, do you see that staircase? So your job is to move up and down the staircase all day. And whenever I call you, you do the task and then you keep moving up and down, because that's your permanent job. And that's how he keeps him busy. Baba says, your man and buddhi are like that. So, they have become that genie. Have you seen, you put your mind and buddhi to an important task, they finish it like this and then they are free. And then again start eating up all your credit. Move here, move there, create thoughts, create feelings, focus on the bizarre, the uncertain, the bad, the sorrowful. So that's what the mind and buddhi are doing. So Baba says, now you have to control this genie, and what you do is give your man and buddhi the task to move up and down. So go to Baba, come here, do the work, then again go to Baba, sit there, then again come here, do the work. So Baba says, do this. And this is how you will protect yourself, because otherwise the genie is going to kill you. So eat you up. So this is Baba's lesson today. And then Baba says, bring out important people in Gyan who have a bigger voice. And Baba very sweetly says, no one listens to the poor. So poor children of Baba, we are making so much noise that God has come, God has come. Nobody is listening to us. So Baba says, bring out somebody who understands Baba and who has a bigger voice, like when they talk, people listen. So Baba says, in order that people recognize God, do this seva. So serve somebody who has a bigger voice and can tell the world that God has come. So this is homework that Baba gives us. And then Baba talks about being carefree. So first thing is having faith, and then becomes being carefree, and then comes having the buddhi or the intellect to make accurate judgments. So Baba today says that when you have faith in Baba, you are carefree, not careless. Okay, there is a difference between careless and carefree. So careless, you are about your actions. Carefree, you are in your state of mind. So you do everything accurately, but you are not taking any tension. So when you have faith in Baba, now you see, faith in Baba and doing the right karma are connected. As soon as you do something which you know is not good karma, you will not be able to stay carefree. Will you be able to stay carefree? If you have lied, can you be carefree after that? No. You will always have the fear that I'll get caught. So Baba says, when you have faith in me means You follow my directions. Faith in me means you do actions according to Srimad. And when you do that, faith in me doesn't mean that, I do whatever and then Baba saves me. That's not faith. So faith in Baba means that Baba is watching, and whatever I'm doing according to Srimad will definitely bring fruit. Faith in Baba is the same thing as faith in Srimad. Yes, so if you have faith in Baba, you have faith in Baba's word. Yes, so the word of God is as true as God. So Baba says that when you have faith in me, so first understand faith. Faith in Baba means faith in Srimad, following Srimad. And when you do that, you are always carefree. Yes. Once I had to make a very big decision, and then I just did everything according to Srimad. I did it the way I had learnt Brahma Baba did it. I did it the way according to the laws set by Srimad. And then somebody asked me, Didi, how could you make such a big decision in a second? Didn't you feel like second guessing? Didn't you feel maybe I can go wrong? So I said, no, I didn't have any of these doubts and second guesses, because I knew that I'm doing it according to Srimad, and whatever is according to Srimad is right. And you don't have to think too much about it. In fact, Baba says you don't even have to think about it. So Baba says that faith gives you clarity, faith makes you carefree. Both these things. And faith in Baba means faith in Srimad. And when you do that and you're carefree, then your buddhi makes good judgments. Because obviously your buddhi is not maligned by, these pulls of vices. So you are doing the right thing, not the beneficial thing, not the profitable or the beneficial or that which feeds your ego, anger, attachment, greed. You're not doing that. Beneficial, not spiritually. I'm talking about profitable and beneficial according to how we look in the world. So when you are not concerned about those things, you're concerned about what's the right thing to do, then you will always be successful, because buy now, pay later comes in a package. So even if you do something because it's the most profitable thing to do right now, you will have to pay later. But when you do the right thing, you benefit now and also in the future. So when you say right judgment is a very long-term thing. Yes, good judgment is not a short-term thing. Good judgment doesn't mean instant profit. Good judgment means long-term profit. So that is when you, there is this brother and he's into some business, and he told me that my business is very risky. So I said, so you need a lot of good wishes then. And then he said, how do I earn that? So I said, by taking calculated risks. Don't take too much risk. Because, too much risk can be, sometimes, you think that I will risk my integrity, I will risk my character, and I will risk this. And then you do the wrong thing, and then the risk escalates because you have done the wrong thing, and then the karma that you have done has increased your risk of an uncertain future. So take calculated risks. So, He said, I really don't know how to do that, but I understand what you're saying. So I said, but if you are vicious, you cannot understand what calculated risk is. So you understand faith, being carefree, making the right judgment. All these things have to be understood very well. Think about it today. Okay? Om Shanti.